Hey guys, welcome to the Captain Fizz Mask Guy Show. We're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants as we sit in my car. So, you know what? Just sit back, relax, and let's go for a ride. Hit the music.
Hey guys, welcome to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy Show. I am Captain Fizz.
Hey, greetings once again from the 7th moon of thunder. I am that Mask Guy.
And we are currently sitting in a car in a parking lot, and I'm surprised we're not getting stared at. This is very a unique show. Usually we're driving or sitting inside a house.
We're usually in the basement, basement. I'm trying to come up with something clever and realizing I'm going to epically fail, so I'm not going to try.
So, while you do your epic, social media.
Whatever it is I'm doing.
Anyone who's listened to the show has noticed our very unique title to our show. And just because I love saying this is the most entertaining thing ever is we all float down here. And you'll float too. So yes, I went to go see It again this weekend. This is now my second time. I am planning to go again and again and again and again until the clowns come home, and then I plan to take the clowns with me. But what I do want to talk about more than the movie itself is generally what the best thing to do is scare people. Now, I had the perfect experience on this. I actually went with Bubbles, Eagle, as well as one of our nieces, our adopted nieces, and we decided to go see It at 10 o'clock at night. Now, usually 10 o'clock at night is bedtime for most of us, especially when you get older, and we decided it was the perfect time to go see a horror movie, which was
why not?
Which was almost sold out, I might add, for the third week in a row. But as we're standing there, we're first in line to wait to get into the theater. I decided I have to go pee.
Thank you for sharing that information. They really needed to know that little detail.
Absolutely, I don't care. So anyways, I went to the washroom. When I came back, all I hear is, oh, so you're the horror fanatic. So Bubbles spent the entire time I was in the bathroom talking about how I am a horror fanatic, that I love horror movies and everything to do with them, and how this movie actually made the hair on my arm stand up. So basically we got talking and all this stuff, and then I think it was her nieces or a bunch of girls showed up with her, and I had to proceed to tell them exactly how terrifying this movie is. I think I scared them more leading up to the movie than the movie itself did, which to me is kind of a bright moment, because I love terrifying people, but in good ways, right? Not to the point where they're going to be dying of a heart attack, but to the point that maybe a movie might become a little bit more enjoyable. Best part of the movie for me wasn't even the movie itself. There was a couple, I think 18, 20-year-old guys sitting above us, and the moment they walked in, I'm like, okay, they're screamers. I had this idea in my head that sometime during the movie they were going to scream. And you just kind of tell this with certain people. And not even, I think, 10, 15 minutes in the movie, before the girls started screaming, I might add, they screamed so loud and so bad that they started hyperventilating. Now, me, being the, a-hole that I am, started laughing. Because I thought it was hilarious that somebody was getting so terrified over nothing that they were hyperventilating inside a public building, and surrounded by everybody who obviously don't know them but can point and laugh. I did not point and laugh because the movie was more entertaining, and I just had to listen. That was the most entertaining point. There was no money dropped this time. Unfortunately, the first time I went, I was surrounded by girls on one side who were pretty much bear hugging their seats, and guys above me who jumped and screamed so loud that the money literally fell out of their pockets. It felt like it sounded like someone broke open a gumball machine. It was very, very unique, and the movie itself was definitely better than the original. I have to point out that when you watch the new movie, the original seems extremely weak and boring, and you fall asleep during.
Well, I mean, that also may have something to do with the fact that the original movie is from, like, what, the 1980s? And
1990.
1990, okay? And the special effects have changed drastically in that period of time.
Oh, absolutely. Watching Pennywise was literally, the way they filmed it made it seem 3D without ever having to be 3D, which was the first time I've seen effects like this. As well as the fact that literally, I think Pennywise, the dancing clown, was on crack. And probably straight out of Silent Hill and might need an exorcist. Or exorcism.
Exorcism, okay.
So it was extremely, entertaining. And this is just part one. Part two will actually be next Labor Day, 2019. Sorry, 2019 Labor Day. So 2 years.
That's kind of crazy. I remember I watched the first half of the original several years ago, actually with the young lady's dad that you took to go see the movie, and with her parents. And I saw it, and it terrified me to the point where there was a storage room at the Walmart that I worked in at the time, and I had to put on all the lights when I went into that storage room because I absolutely freaked out and thought there would be a clown in there. I have no desire to go off and to see the new one because I'm not a huge fan of horror movies for the most part, and yet I can't wait until October anyways for season 2 of
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, thank you.
And see, that's a whole different atmosphere because that's not technically horror, per se. It is more of a mystery and fantasy. It's definitely scream tactic.
There's definitely some stuff there that I can't wait for that. But I couldn't help. I actually went and I read about the book on Wikipedia. And the storyline itself is really nice. I mean, there's several different elements to the story. Kids going off and conquering their fear, growing up. I mean, if you thought part 1 it was terrifying, part 2 is going to be really, really, I think, almost darker in some ways.
At least we can hope. The one thing that happened with the original, even though it was made for TV, was that the second half was definitely worse than the first half. But I think the biggest reason being is because for the first half, it wasn't just about the kids. It was them as adults, and it was flashbacks.
Yeah, they treated it. I remember that they treated it as a bunch of flashbacks. So they literally went off and they took, the part 1 and they broke it up and tried to insert parts from part 2 into it.
Yeah, which was definitely their downfall. That's kind of what ruined the storyline. As for any idea who the cast is for Chapter 2, there has been no reports. They've pretty much kept this close to the belt, and obviously being 2 years away, we won't hear anything for approximately 9 months to a year before we hear any real authentic news. I guess
one of the questions I gotta ask is, did the kids go on that little? I'm not sure that did they go off and kind of get all drugged up and see that turtle?
So, they mentioned a turtle, I think. No, I can't remember now. Because I've watched the original the night before, and in the morning before the movies. I do actually believe they mentioned a turtle, but they didn't show anything about a turtle.
Okay, because as a fan of Discworld, there's been at least little connections between between the two.
Yeah.
And, there was, for some reason, people saw some similarities between the turtle that's mentioned in the book It and the turtle from Discworld. And I think it was kind of interesting because in reading the description of it, the turtle goes off and explains to the kids how they can be Pennywise. And actually talks about how he vomited up the world or something along those lines.
See, none of that actually was mentioned in this, nor were they informed any way of beating Pennywise or anyone would even talk about. They literally kind of figured this out all on their own. So that was kind of unique. It was a different aspect to it. On top of that, there was no, mention of the fact of, what Pennywise is, just other than a clown and somehow can shapeshift into, into the kids' fears. But it was kind of unique to see the different aspect of the history that they brought in continuously and how they changed the movie to fit with the history from the original movie, as well as, bits and pieces of the new movie. So that definitely was unique. The best part I found was there was no mention of them as adults. So strictly as kids. So this was a little bit more of an in-depth get to know the characters. They have confirmed, of course, that Pennywise will be back. No surprise there, same actor. And the kids will actually be making appearances as flashbacks as well. That's as far as they've gotten into Chapter 2. So some good things, and whatnot. And of course, we'll get to see the one guy back in Stranger Things, who has apparently picked up a swearing habit. Since being in...
is one of the kids from...
one of the kids...
that's right, I forgot about that.
He plays Richie from It. So, definitely he's very mouth-happy. So, but, it's unique. And a lot of special effects.
Well, I guess, especially when you have a shape-shifting clown, I suppose that would sort of be expected.
Oh, absolutely. And in ways that you never would expect. And, I'm not going to go into much detail. They actually do mention the iconic, two iconic, I guess, quotes, so to speak, from the movie, which is "Hi Ho, Silver Away," with Billy on his bike, and "Beep Beep Richie," which basically means "Shut up, Richie." And those are unique. I do want to point out, I actually read some interesting facts today. Back in 2003, the actor who played the young Billy, as well as the actor who played the old Ben, both passed away in 2003. So that's kind of unique history there.
Creepy.
Yeah, a little creepy history, and I think it was only a couple months apart. So I think what we'll do is maybe take some quick music break and then come back with even more wonderful, wonderful nonsense.
And maybe I'll actually do a little bit of talking.
Yeah, I talked a lot, but this was an awesome movie. It was a 10 out of 10. So enjoy this music. We'll be right back. welcome back to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guys show. I just want to answer two quick questions before we